Welcome to the fifth and final part of this series where I am reflecting on my post-ADHD diagnosis video where I was struggling with some hard things. Today's video I'm focusing on inner critic, making sense of that inner critic, building your self-esteem again, and at the end sharing, introducing you to somebody who is special to me in my life that has helped me through this. Being told don't be so hard on yourself is frustrating because it's like, I know, but I don't choose to feel this. I didn't come out all fresh as a baby being like, I feel a deep sense of shame that I am unwanted.
I regret saying that because the use of the word fresh really freaks me out.
And so I don't believe that my ADHD makes that true. I believe that the world responding to me has made that true. And I hold all of that inside in a pit of shame that with time and the right support and the right strategies, I will be able to unlock and get over. And that's what makes me feel hopeful. But I like to keep saying this, I think you have to break down before you can rebuild. And I think that the only way...
I know it's annoying, but it's true. I be rebuilding. She's rebuilt.
Well, I know this, I was talking to my therapist about this, and I know this, people say this. The only way through shame is through shame, right? You can't go over it, you can't go around it. It's like going on a bloody bear hunt. You gotta go through it. But I also realised something really significant in therapy this week. As we sat with the shame, I'm not scared to feel shame. No. I've done a lot of work on not being scared of negative emotions. And
I don't know why that made me feel so icky to hear myself say that. I feel like it was almost like, my reaction was like, when you say Beetlejuice 3 times, like shame will appear. It's like, oh no, I think because I feel good right now, it's like, don't say I want to feel it, I don't want to feel it. But it doesn't, you know what's interesting about it? I don't think, it never feels less painful. I think you just get used to knowing that you're going to be okay out the other side. Ugh.
Negative emotions. I'm not scared to feel shame. On a good day, I'm excited to feel shame.
Madness.
Because it means that it's progress. My problem is that I don't have time to process my feelings in a world and a life and a society that is always on. Going to work, working 5 days a week, coming home, doing this, doing that, doing all the bills, seeing all your friends. Like the structures of the structures of society don't give me time to feel and process my feelings. And then I don't really know what to do with that, because then I just have a whole existential thing about like how do I then fit into the world, because I can't just go off, and maybe I can, right? I can't just go off and do what I want. Like it's
Hey! I can and I did. That is so wild. I can. Oh my goodness. Sorry. This feels like self-congratulatory, but I just can't. It blows my mind that I just didn't think that this would. Okay, bear with me.
It's trapping. But then the good outcome of realising that is me going, but that's good, because it's not that I'm scared of this feeling, it's not that I can't cope with it, it's not that I can't do it, it's that something needs to change in like my environment or my timetable or whatever to give myself permission to deal with this.
A few things. Number one, I highly recommend, if you are on the brink of burnout or if you're struggling with these feelings, find time to deal with them, because they will come and get you, right? However you work that into your diary or into your day, just find some space at least to sit with the feeling, to not be always on. What's really interesting about what I'm saying here is, once I got out of the context, once I quit my job and I went self-employed again, so this was from October, I haven't had many big feelings to deal with because I was happy with what I was doing day to day. So changing the situation meant that I haven't had as much that's needed to be dealt with, but also And again, I'm doing that thing where I don't want to talk too specifically to the context of my life because not all of you will be in this position, but many of you will. So maybe I just need to remember that many of you will be working from home for yourself, self-employed, freelance, or you work for a business, but you have a good degree of autonomy. And this probably applies best to you when you have a good degree of autonomy and control over your calendar. I create space in my day now to deal with my shit. And what I mean by that is when I was struggling with a spiral of rejection sensitivity a few weeks back, I took the rest of the day off. And that's hard because you're like, oh my goodness, I should be doing something else. But when you work for yourself and you've got nobody to answer to, the only thing you need to do is get okay with giving yourself that, because the payoff is worth it. Like, if I hadn't have done that, I would have carried it for way longer and it would have had a way more detrimental impact over the week. But I dealt with it in that day and I recovered from it a lot faster. So if you're somebody that has that autonomy and flexibility in your timetable, or if you're somebody that wants to, maybe you're working towards self-employment, for example, just know that you can have it. Like, that does create, you can organize your calendar and your priorities in a way that you're still getting the shit done, but you have time to deal with some of this heavy stuff.
There is a lot to work through. So right now, for me, that looks like sharing this, speaking to Mr. Rachel about it, which was an immediate sense of relief, by the way. Honestly, the whole voice your shame thing. It's reading this book about shame. I've started doing some self-compassion exercises because the antidote to shame is self-compassion. I'm also writing a book, casual.
Self-compassion exercises, did them for a few weeks, then I just didn't bother. They were helpful, but I didn't really, I don't know. They sometimes feel a little bit forced. One of my top tips that I would say if you're struggling with self-compassion exercises, because you're not in the place yet where you can feel positive, focus on trying to like neutralize a thought. So rather than like the thought of like, oh, I'm so bad at everything, is like, I'm so amazing at everything. Try and neutralize it in between with like, what are the facts here though, right? Like, what is a neutral thought about yourself as like an interim? The other thing that I want to say about the book,
I've been writing a book for before my diagnosis about managing my inner critic, and this is a huge part of that. And I have a funny part of me that's like, even in the depths of the shame, is like, this is good material. So, you know,
I haven't shared this with YouTube. I haven't shared this with YouTube yet. I normally tell my clients about it because inner critic work comes up all of the time. I always say with my coaching clients, it's about method, i.e. strategy, and it's about mindset. Let me just go and get him. I'm just going to say it because I want to do it this year. Like I've bookmarked August to finish writing it, okay? It is called Gruff, Me and ADHD, and it is a series of conversations, letters, doodles, just me sharing stories between me and a little clay model that I built called Mr. Gruff, who represents my inner critic, okay? So me and Gruff have been talking to each other for like the last 3 years now, pre-ADHD diagnosis even. And he is a, sorry, it makes me laugh so much. But he's that little voice, that little pebble that just jams in there with a health and safety. This is a hard hat because he's like the health and safety inspector of my mind. The voice of criticism, the voice of, I don't want to give too much away because I'm going to reveal it as part of the story in the book as his true function in nature and how we are rebuilding our relationship. But I want to show you him here because I wanted to just give you a way, the sun be beaming on him, to, if you're stuck right now and don't know where to start with how to manage that critical voice in your head, externalize it. Draw a picture. Even better to make it into a model. Like, we've been on some adventures together. We're going to keep going on adventures together. There's something about seeing it outside of yourself that's funny. It's funny. It's funny. I'm an almost 32-year-old woman that talks to a clay model, right? That's funny to me. And that makes it, that diffuses some of the tension of like feeling bad about myself in my head. So this is Gruff.
It's all the trade-off. But that really just helps me process stuff as well. And making some decisions about how I'm going to spend my time. Oh, I'm also going to do a shame audit. Of course, make it a project. I want to audit my life and basically go, which aspects of people, places, work, recreation, like where does shame show up most in my life?
Look at me with the advice. I was shocked there because I forgot I'd said that. I didn't do it. I think I had a bit of a sense of it in my head anyway that was like guiding the way, but you might want to do that if you're feeling that. You audit away.
And where can I remove the unhealthy shame? And what are the areas where I feel like they are good, almost like training grounds for me to learn to feel and move through my shame to a positive outcome? But what are the ones where it's like not helping and we just need to get rid of? And I have an idea of that, but it's all...
I'm trying to remember what I meant by that. I think what I meant by I have an idea of is I just need to leave my job and do something else. That made the biggest difference.
Quite scary, so...
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's that, I suppose. I don't really know how to end it because we've been on a journey. So my brain is like, we do the classic comments. Well, you comment anyway. You'll comment anyway. You'll subscribe anyway. You'll do what you want to do if you liked it. Do you know what I mean? You don't need me to tell you. So what I will do, because I'm notoriously bad at this, and this is also my job and I fluffing love it, is actually just say, if you want to work on some of the things we've spoken about today, like the tips that I've given, the inner critic stuff, the managing life, the post-diagnosis whirlwind, you can coach with me. I'll put the link in the description. You can find out more about my services. I just feel excited about helping people, what I like to call, create a tasty, fruity future. So I'll see you around.